the same type of people who say, who said that the trickle-down theory is the solution, or who say, give a fish to someone is good, but teach him to fish is better. It's all that is nice, but it also make us feel that they don't know how to fish. They know very well how to fish. Not only they know very well how to fish, so they don't need us to teach them how to fish, but on top of that, so that's all the development type of ideas, But on top of that, if we take their fish, as we do all the time, even if we teach them to fish, and again, as they know very well, that won't help anything. And so, of course, and part of the ideas that this side of the world, broadcast all the time, is the idea that if we educate them, they'll find a solution. And we tried at the beginning when I started to make the film, I wanted to show the other side, all the politicians and experts and this and that were on the other side, and we interviewed a lot of those and we have that in the archive, and what they were saying were so absurd that at the end I started to edit the film by having the two sides, explaining their point of view, and it was so absurd that at the end of the day I said, honestly, take all this time to make these people look ridiculous, because that was the only goal. It makes no sense. I can give you plenty of examples like that. And take this time away from the people who have something to say. It doesn't make sense. So it's why I got rid of them. But yes, we interviewed, for example, one of the most important congressmen in the opposition of President Lula in Brazil. That's the only thing he could say for an hour and a half: education, education, and education. And you say, well, but historically, education, education, education. That's all we got. We interviewed the number 2 of Mr. Jeffrey Sachs at the UN, Earth Institute, and he told us for an hour and a half, mosquito nets and fertilizer. That's the solution to end poverty. And no matter how I turn it, like historically and this and that, mosquito nets and fertilizer. And you say, you can be serious, right? We are in a system, that is taking the resources away from people so that they don't have any more, and you are telling me mosquito nets and fertilizer? Another example which is great is I went to interview the opponent of Evo Morales in Bolivia, Tuto Quiroga, and Tuto Quiroga, he was already in power a while ago, and wants to come back, of course, in power. Tuto Quiroga speaks much better English than me. He was Harvard educated and dressed like an American, and and has a beautiful office like an American, and he, because he knew, of course, we were making a movie on poverty, so he told us that if he was coming back in power, he would solve poverty like that. And I said, oh great, how would you do that? And he said, well, I would not have anything to do, because the market is so high that the market would do it by itself. I said, really, that's interesting. I said, but why did it didn't work when you were in power? He said, it didn't work because the market was so low that there was nothing I could do. There was nothing I could do to help the problem of poverty. So I said, in fact, you are telling me that no matter what, if the market is high, you don't do anything because the market will do it by itself, and the market is low, you don't do anything either because there's nothing you can do. So this guy don't do ever anything. So it's why when you have this kind of interviews, you say, again, yes, the possibility would have to do something like Michael Moore to make them look ridiculous, but it's a waste of time. There was so many more interesting things to do. So it's why I decided to not even to get rid of that.